Once upon a time, a very long time ago now, about last Friday, Winnie the Pooh lived in the forest all by himself, under the name of Sundays. What does under the name mean? It means he had the name over the door in gold letters and lived under it. One day, when he was out walking, he came to an open place in the middle of the forest, and in the middle of this place was a large oak tree, and from the top of the tree there came a loud buzzing noise. Winnie the Pooh sat down at the foot of the tree, put his head between his paws, and began to think. First of all, he said to himself,
"That buzzing noise means something. You don't get a buzzing noise like that, just buzzing and buzzing, without its meaning something. If there is a buzzing noise, somebody's making a buzzing noise. And the only reason for making a buzzing noise that I know of is because you are a bee. And the only reason for being a bee that I know of is making honey. And the only reason for making honey is so as I can eat it."
So he began to climb the tree.
"Isn't it funny how a bear likes honey? Buzz, buzz, buzz. I wonder why he does. It's a very funny thought that if bears were bees, they'd build their nests at the bottom of trees. If the bees were bears, we shouldn't have to climb up all these stairs."
He was nearly there now, and if he just stood on that branch, crack!
Oh, help! If only I hadn't! You see what I meant to do. It all comes off liking honey so much. Oh, help!
He crawled out of the gorse bush, brushed the prickles from his nose, and began to think again. And the first person he thought of was Piggy. So Winnie the Pooh went round to his friend Piggy, who lived behind the green door in another part of the forest.
"Good morning, Piggy. Good morning, Winnie the Pooh. I wonder if you've got such a thing as a balloon about you." "A balloon? Yes, I just said to myself coming alone. I wonder if Piggy has such a thing as a balloon about him." I just said it to myself, thinking of balloons and wondering, what do you want a balloon for?
Winnie the Pooh looked round to see that nobody was listening, put his paw to his mouth, and said in a deep whisper,
"Honey. But you don't get honey with balloons. I do."
Well, it just happened that Piggy had been to a party the day before at the house of his friend, and Piggy had balloons at the party. And so Piggy had brought the green one and the blue one home with him.
"Which one would you like?"
He put his head between his paws and thought very carefully.
"When you go after honey with a balloon, the great thing is not to let the bees know you are coming. Now, if you have a green balloon, they might think you were only part of the tree and not notice you. And if you have a blue balloon, they might think you were only part of the sky and not notice you. Wouldn't they notice you underneath the balloon? They might or they might not. You never can tell with bees. I shall try to look like a small black cloud. That will deceive them. Then you had better have the blue balloon,"
Piggy said, and so it was decided. Well, Piggy and Pooh both went out with the blue balloon, and Winnie the Pooh went to a very muddy place that he knew of, and rolled until he was black all over. And then, when the balloon was blown up, as big, and Piggy and Pooh were both holding on to the string, they let go suddenly, and Pooh Bear floated gracefully up into the sky, and stayed there level with the top of the tree and about 20 feet away from it.
"Hurrah! Isn't that fine? What do I look like?" "You look like a bear holding on to a balloon, not like a small black cloud in a blue sky." "Not very much." Well, perhaps from up here it looks different, and as I say, you never can tell with bees."
There was no wind to blow him nearer to the tree, so there he stayed. He could see the honey, he could smell the honey, but he couldn't quite reach the honey. After a little while, he called down to Piggy.
"Piggy, hello. I think the bees suspect something. What sort of thing? I don't know, but something tells me that they are suspicious. Perhaps they think that you are after their honey. It may be that. You never can tell with bees." "Piggy, yes. Have you an umbrella and walk up and down with it, and look up at me every now and then and say, "It looks like rain." I shall do what I can by singing a little cloud song.
So while Piggy walked up and down and wondered if it would rain, Winnie the Pooh sang this song.
How sweet to be a cloud floating in the blue. Every little cloud always sings aloud. How sweet to be a cloud floating in the blue. It makes him very proud to be a little cloud.
The bees were still buzzing as suspiciously as ever. Some of them indeed left their nest and flew all around the cloud as it began the second verse of this song. And one bee sat down on the nose of the cloud for a moment and then got up again.
Piggy! Yes, I have just been thinking. And I have come to a very important decision. These are the wrong sort of bees. Are they? Quite the wrong sort. So I should think they would make the wrong sort of honey. Shouldn't you? Would they? Yes. So I think I shall calm down. Piggy, you must shoot the balloon with your gun. Have you got your gun? Of course I have. But if I do that, it will spoil the balloon. But if you don't, I shall have to let go, and that would spoil me.
When he put it like this, Piggy saw how it was, and Piggy aimed very carefully at the balloon and fired.
Oh, did I miss? You didn't exactly miss. But you missed the balloon. I'm so sorry.
And Piggy fired again, and this time Piggy hit the balloon, and the air came slowly out, and Winnie the Pooh floated down to the ground. But his arms were so stiff from holding on to the string of the balloon all that time that they stayed up straight in the air for more than a week. And whenever a fly came and settled on his nose, he had to blow it off. And I think, but I'm not sure, that is why he was always called Pooh. Is that the end of the story? That's the end of that one. There are others. About Pooh, and Piggy, and Rabbit, and all of them.